Hello, this is week 2 of my exercise journey and weight loss, and I've got a couple of things I want to talk about what happened during this week. During the beginning of the week, I wasn't able to exercise. It turns out that when I started exercising last week, I went a little bit too far in what I should have started off with. I do have very flat feet, and I didn't put in my insoles or anything because I didn't have any. So starting off walking and doing stairs and all that stuff without the insoles really caused my feet to hurt and gave me shin splints. They did end up healing later on in the week. I did purchase insoles and I put those in my shoes immediately. I put them in my work shoes and I put them in my workout shoes. So I started off after I put the insoles going out for walks with my wife. We would walk about 1.2 miles to 1.5 miles every night. Afterwards, I decided, if I'm really gonna commit to this and I got to do much more than that. I wasn't feeling very tired. I wasn't sweating very much, so obviously I wasn't putting enough effort into it. So I started waking up around 6 a.m. A couple of hours before I have to drive off to work, and having breakfast and getting ready and going down to the gym in our apartment complex. They do have a couple of treadmills there, and I figured I might as well just start doing some cardio in the morning. So every morning I did 2 miles on the treadmill, and then I would come over to the apartment where we live, and obviously we live on the 3rd floor. So I decided, well, I might as well get some stairs in since we don't have a stairmaster. So I went up and down the stairs to the front door of our unit, which is on the 3rd floor, and back down to the 1st floor, back up, back down, back up, back down. A couple of times I ended up doing 20 floors that day. The next day I did quite a bit less because, again, I didn't want to push myself too hard. My legs were already starting to feel sore and hurting. Another couple of things that happened this week is I kind of had to change my diet a little bit. I sat down and analyzed that before I used to drink about 5 to 6 cups of milk a day. I used to have a ton of cheese. And other than being expensive on the grocery bill, it's also not helpful for losing weight. So I decided to cut down pretty much all dairy. I've reduced my cheese to about 2 ounces a day. And I've cut my milk down to where I'm only using it in my oatmeal or my cereal or any recipes that call for a little bit of milk. And I'm not drinking it just plain. If I'm a little short in calories for that day before I go to bed, I will have a small glass of milk. This only happened once this last week, and that's because I do get hungry during the night. I'm used to eating right before I go to bed, and now with the new diet, I'm not doing that. So if I get hungry during the night, I tend to wake up and not sleep as well. So I'll drink a glass of milk, or I'll eat a small meal a little bit closer to bedtime rather than waiting until right before I go to bed. That's been helping. I've been getting more adjusted to it, so I've been having to do that less frequently. I've also decided to not go out and eat by myself, out at restaurants or anything like that. Me and my wife committed to that a couple of days ago, or actually I think it was yesterday. I ended up having to go out to eat. I was helping my little sister with some errands, and we had to stop for lunch and we had to stop for dinner. So for lunch, we opted to stop at Firehouse Subs because sandwiches are a little bit healthier than fast food. However, you still have to watch what you pick from the menu. So I'm still not at the point where I can eat vegetables or anything like that, just straight out wherever I go. I'm still getting acquired to the taste of it. So I decided to have a meatball marinara sub. I decided to have it on wheat bread instead of the white bread. I also asked them to remove the cheese from the sandwich because I feel like they use too much cheese. And I also opted to have almost no sauce because I feel like the sauce that they use has a ton of calories. So that was my option for lunch, and I had water instead of soda. Again, soda has a lot of sugar, has a lot of calories, and I'm trying not to drink my calories, that way I can eat them. If I drink them, they're pretty much gone, and it doesn't really fill me up. So later for dinner, we ended up stopping at my favorite restaurant, which is Olive Garden. It's simply my favorite restaurant because they put cheese on everything. I mean, you can ask for cheese on your cheese if you wanted to. and I usually order the Zuppa Toscana. It's my favorite, and I usually have them put a ton of cheese into it. But this time I decided to have them put a small amount of cheese on a plate on the side. That way I could control how much cheese I put into my soup, and I would only have the cheese that was on the plate and not ask for any extra. Um, so it was a little bit different. It was a little bit harder for me. It definitely was very tempting. The other people that were there with me ordered lasagna and fettuccine and chicken parmesan, so it was a little difficult to sit there and watch them eat all this food with cheese and be limited to what I was trying to do for myself. Again, I had water and didn't have the lemonade or anything. Then after everybody was done eating, everybody ordered desserts. I decided to get a small dessert to go so that me and my wife could share it during the week later in small portions, because we haven't had any sweets in a long time and we're starting to get cravings. So I thought if we have small portions, that should be okay, and that way we kind of kill the cravings without binge eating later on in the week. Um, but yeah, I did feel good after my exercise. I'm going to continue trying to exercise in the morning and going for walks when I get home from work with my wife. I do enjoy those walks. It's a nice, peaceful in the evening. It's starting to get a lot colder, so we might not be able to go out for walks outside. We might have to stick to the gym because the cold weather will make me sick. So I wanted to avoid that because I feel like that would hinder my weight loss, obviously. But we will check in again next week and see what the results. So far this week, I've lost 5 pounds. It's still not noticeable yet. 5 pounds, I don't feel like it's really noticeable. But we will see what next week brings us, and if the scale says I've lost some more.